Hi, everybody. Welcome to the stream today. This is our Women's History Month stream. We've got a couple wonderful artists with us today. Um, some of you may be familiar with us already. We're the Sacramento Songwriter Circle. Our mission is to create an inclusive and encouraging community of diverse songwriters to support each other and to improve our craft, produce, promote, and share our art. I'm your host, Raina Rose, for tonight. I'm going to be hosting with Chloe Price. Hi, Chloe. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm doing well, thanks. How are you?
Good. Glad to be here. So, today we're joined also by Laynee Daniels and Sarah Reiwitch. Hi, you guys. Um, so today, we're going to start with a couple introductions. Sarah, we have had you in certain homemade songs and songwriter circles in the past. Glad to see you here. Same here with Lainey. So Sarah has been an acoustic guitar songwriter and started acoustic guitar writing a couple years ago. I've had the chance to encounter her on her path quite a few times. It's been a wonderful time seeing her grow and improve. And I've seen Lainey perform in a couple shows as well. Lainey has been also doing some acoustic songwriter guitar work, making a couple originals. And then we also have Sam Henson from Band of Coyotes, who could not make it here live today, but she has some pre-recorded videos for you guys. And she'll go ahead and introduce herself. So that is those are our artists for tonight.
So first, I'm Sarah Reiwitch, and I'm really excited to be here tonight with all of you guys. The Sacramento songwriting community is really strong. Actually, the whole music community, including Music Landry. I see Buddy right there, and I'm just thrilled to be here. I just came out with a new EP a couple weeks ago, and I'll talk more about that later. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it on to
Yeah,
Lainey.
Lainey.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lainey. I am here and so excited to be collaborating with everyone here. I have gotten the chance to interact with everyone here on a multitude of occasions, and it's been the most fantastic time. I am newer to the songwriting community, but am not new to the community of musicians, so I'm really excited to have joined this kind of second layer.
And we're glad to have you. And then, yeah, we've got a quick intro from our friend Sam Henson to play real quick.
Thank you so much, Sacramento Songwriter Circle, for having me. I know you guys are such an amazing community that supports so many local artists, and you've supported me and Band of Coyotes a lot in the past 2-3 years since our band's been around. So, and huge shout out to you to Heather Evans for starting it all. So a little bit about me. I did music growing up. I started playing in high school. But I didn't really start getting back into it until I moved out to Sacramento. The place I was in at the time, I just felt like my life was being sucked out of me a little bit, just working a lot and just not really having anything else but work. So I started really branching out and was just able to just find an outlet of just an outlet to express myself just by playing music. And so I met Mason and Steven from the Band of Coyotes at Old Ironsides open mics. And so I used to go there and I just started writing new tunes again. And so we would play on each other's songs. And so that's how we ended up becoming a band, the band again. So let's see, music influences. I would say some of the biggest ones in the last couple years. I'm a huge Nick Drake fan. Just his finger style and just like finger picking style, I've really gotten to admire a lot. And just some of my newer songs that you can hear on Spotify, I've like included, I guess, just a lot of my guitar parts are inspired by Nick Drake's finger picking style. So he definitely has inspired and influenced my music, along with like Jim Croce as well, and just his storytelling and his lyrics. Then I really love Matt Thiessen and the Earthquakes. Yeah, he's a great songwriter as well, just a really good storyteller and finger picker as well. And then Father John Misty as well. So he's all very good storytellers. I think the thing I like the most about Father John Misty is like his the stories that he has are very wild and kind of unbelievable. So it might be because he probably did drugs a lot in the past. So, you know, I'm not a drug user, but, you know, I think he probably was influenced a lot on that. So I've really gotten to love the Sacramento community, just with music. I think the thing I love about it the most is how creative so many songwriters are that I've met in Sacramento. In comparison to other cities that I've been to and seen their music scenes like Nashville or Nashville mainly, and I'd even say like LA kind of, and other bigger hubs that I've just gone through, played open mics and stuff. People are just way more cutthroat. And so with Sacramento, especially the Sacramento Songwriting Circle, we're just such a strong community of artists that lift each other up. And so I've been very fortunate to meet a lot of great songwriters, like Sarah Reiwitch, who's on with us tonight. Her and I have become good friends over the years. So and then like, you know, other bands like Bad Barnacles and Dad's Underwear. It's cool seeing like Sacramento has so many different types of bands and music scenes that really lift each other up and include each other. And so yeah, I've seen probably the most unique type of music in Sacramento. The Mini Ha-Has is probably one of the most unique bands I've ever seen. They're great. Spacewalker and Drew, I think his last name's Walker too. He's a drummer, but they formed it a couple years ago. And so I remember seeing them at Golden Bear once. And they're awesome artists. So let's see. I guess just for future stuff that you could do, you could follow me at Sam Writes Songs and at Band of Coyotes on Instagram, and you could stream some of our music. I kind of mentioned before, Band of Coyotes is going to be coming out with a new album. That'll be really exciting. There's a lot of cool songs. Oh, and also inspiration. The guys in the Band of Coyotes really inspire me a lot too. So both Mason and Steven have really influenced my songwriting. And I'd even say Ronnie Two Shoes, our new drummer, he's like really brought like a lot of new juice into our songs. And so, and his solo music has inspired mine as well. So and then Mike and Scott as well. Just it's a nice little collective of songwriters. So huge shout out to them. But anyway, I'm totally rambling. But check out our band. We're gonna be coming out with an album, and then I have another set of dirty demos that I'll probably be releasing once COVID is done, because I kind of told myself when I recorded and decided to split up the two albums that I would wait until COVID was like officially done. So I don't know exactly when that'll be or what determines that. So maybe it's like once everyone has the vaccine available. So it might be around May. Just wait for some surprises. But in the meantime, I'll probably be releasing a single or two, either from that project or other things that I'm even working on right now. So thank you guys again for having me. Really, really appreciate it. Definitely recommend, just listening to more Sacramento artists. So I believe Rainier is hosting, so thank you so much for hosting, and check out her music as well. So I absolutely love it. Take care. Hope you guys have a good evening. Bye.
All right, thank you to Sam for being here, even though it's not in person. We're really glad to have her, see her songs. As a reminder to our audience, throughout the show, you'll see information on how to support the artists down in the chat. So if you're willing to, we're suggesting donations of $5. So feel free to support our artists in that way. And then also, if you'd like to offer some feedback or ask a question to an artist, feel free to drop questions below and some feedback. Make sure you let us know which artists you're referring to, and we can get those questions all ready to ask questions at the end. All right. All right, well, let's move on to our first artist, Sarah Reiwitch. Hi, Sarah. So, Sarah, would you tell us a little bit about your first song?
Sure. Thanks for the introduction, Chloe. And my first song is Daydreaming Again, and it's on my EP Solitary that's out now everywhere. And I actually, Daydreaming Again is the song that I first made a music video for, and that's out on my YouTube channel. I'm telling you that primarily because it was something that I saw that inspired me to write the song. And the thing that I saw is actually in my music video, which is kind of a plant dancing behind the blinds. And I recorded that. I did just a little video on my phone of that. And then later I was feeling kind of dreamy, like a few months later, and remembered that video and then started to write this song. And I was going through kind of a transition period, starting a new job, kind of trying to find my place in the world. And that song came out. And then when I went to go make the music video, I thought, wow, why don't I just try to use that footage? Do I still have it? I didn't even, I had switched phones, and it turns out that I was able to dig it up, and I used that. And then it inspired me to make this music video just from footage that I had on my phone, and some archival footage from the 40s that I downloaded for free, some open source Creative Commons footage. And so I put that in there as well, but it was really just a fun project. And I hope you like the song. I want to make a note that there are chimes on the song, and it was my first time recording chimes, but I want to plug Musiclandria, the Library of Musiclandria right now, because they are the ones who provided the chimes for me. So that was really fun, and I think helped the song be what it is. So
That's a beautiful story. All right. Here's Sarah's first song.
Streams to the blinds, leave shadow memory. Summer arrived, grasses gave up their greenery. I'm dreaming again that you're right here. Tasting my eyes from a breathtaking melody. The dark and the light, and all the space between. daydreaming again, hoping there's a place for me. I'm wondering where, and is it what I thought it would be?
Absolutely beautiful, Sarah. I was reading through the comments, and what I hear a lot of is feeling very heartfelt, and we feel like we're close to you, very intimate. And I believe that was one of the goals of your EP. So tell us a little bit about, so Solitary was your EP that you released just a few weeks ago. Tell us about your overall process for recording and producing it.
Okay, well, first I want to thank you very much. I'm glad that you enjoyed it and that the people in the chat did as well. My overall process, I actually use this very mic. And this is the second EP that I recorded at home, and I didn't really have the confidence to do that until a very close friend of mine convinced me that I could, and I just kind of went for it. And anyway, so my first EP I recorded, and my first one was Earthbound, and that also had 6 songs, and I recorded that and released that in September of last year. And then this one Solitary I recorded also in my room, and that only took a couple months because I kind of learned how to do it. And my process is, I've just now kind of figured out a workflow that works, and it's been a lot of trial and error. But what I do is, if I feel like I need kind of rhythmic help, or if I'm going to have a drummer add something, then I usually record to a drum track that's kind of like just a fake, sample drum track, because I can't really play very well to a click track. I don't know if R2, but I can't play metronome or a click track. So I just get a drum track that works. And then kind of I lay down the guitar part. And then after I get a track that I really think is the one, that it sounds good, then I lay down vocals. And for this one, later on, I decided it needed chimes, so I got that. And so for this particular, and feel free to stop me if I'm going on and on. So I don't know if it's time to move on. Okay, one last thing is this. So this track, the harmonies, I was just going to do a couple of harmonies. So there are 3 different levels of harmony, and I was just going to do a couple tracks each, but I didn't really like any of the tracks. So I just kept recording and recording, and I got to like 5 or 6 tracks each. And then I tried to pick, a track from there, or a couple tracks from each, and I couldn't find ones that I liked. So I thought, let me just play them all. And I did, and it sounded really good. So I said, okay, great. They're none of them perfect alone, but together they sound great. I mean, to me, they did sound pretty great. So that's how I have all those layered vocals in there. It was kind of just, I went with the flow. So a lot of that happens in my recording process, where oh, I think I need chimes. Let me call Music Landria. Or, oh, these takes aren't great. Let me put them together. So it's just kind of a lot of, and that's kind of what I did with my videos too. And I'm finding that as in life, like just going with the flow, you can come up with some really beautiful and meaningful work. So I'll stop there.
Beautiful. Thank you so much, Sarah. It's always great to hear each artist's creative process and writing process from start to finish, because it's just so different for everyone. So it's always good to hear it. Thank you so much for sharing. So we're ready to move on, I think, to our next artist, Lainey.
Hi, Lainey. Unmute real quick. Thank
Good
you.
catch. Great catch.
All right. What is the name of the first song you'll be showing us today?
The name of the first song I'm showing is called Mine, and it is my most recent original.
Ooh, I'm excited to hear it.
This is the wrong one.
We say goodbye too often. Tell myself I haven't forgotten what it's like to be around you. Me staring at the skyline, laying with you, burning daylight. For now, it's hours by the telephone. Can't wait for more. But we're nearing the finish line. Wish I could slow down, speed up time. One thing's for sure, I get to call you mine. Done staring at my ceiling, I started writing for a deeper meaning. Can't wait to touch the tangibilities. Can't wait to hear your laughter in my ear. But we're nearing the finish line. Wish I could slow down, speed up time. One thing's for sure, I get to call you mine. Call you mine. Mine. I get to call you mine.
Wow, Lainey, that was amazing. I really appreciate having your guitar skill showcased. Like those in between riffs are so sweet in both of your songs, but Lainey, that was gorgeous. So you said this was one of the most recent songs that you've written. I wanted to ask you about that. So did you write this during pandemic?
Yeah, so I wrote this during the pandemic. Something I came to the conclusion that a lot of the issues right now, we have 500 different really, really big and really, really important societal issues, and a lot
Yeah.
of that is being covered in art. We see that's becoming more and more prevalent through social media, through music, through visual art, a lot of this. But I think a lot of what's being skipped over is these kind of what seems to be minor emotional struggles that people are facing
Yeah.
going through this pandemic. So I saw this tweet that said college couples are really mad right now because I got to start dating my boyfriend about 2 weeks before we went into lockdown, and
Yeah.
that was a really big part of my life. Not ignoring the bigger societal issues, but that was definitely impactful to me.
Yeah, and kind of trying to work around the whole lockdown pandemic thing and how everything has changed. Yeah, got really crazy. So I wanted to ask how pandemic has impacted your writing style. You talked a lot about time going by really fast and stuff like that, and that's obviously something we see a lot more of when we're trapped inside for long hours. Um, so what kind of pulled you to write this song about calling someone mine in the way of pandemic? Like, how has that changed your writing style?
Yeah, so I will be honest, the majority of my writing style has been as a result of the pandemic. So I'm not entirely positive what happens when I'm not in a pandemic. And
Yeah.
that's a little bit scary, but I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I think collaboration has been one of the biggest kind of shifts. We haven't been able to play music live or in person with each other
Hmm.
technically. Um, and a lot of it has been done digitally or through email, text. And I just think it's a lot harder to convey kind of what you want slash need through that.
Yeah. Connections and messages online can be really weirdly portrayed. So it's really nice when you can take the pandemic and put those emotions into a song. So I completely relate with, pandemic opening up a lot of people to invest in the craft. I've had quite a lot of people come to me and say, "Oh, I want to take lessons during pandemic. I want to take up music." And it's a really nice time to kind of hone your craft there. So thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Next, we do have a song from Sam Henson, and she will go ahead and introduce that one in a pre recorded video.
So thank you so much for having me for the Sacramento Songwriter Circle. Really appreciate it. This first song is called Gatsby, and the inspiration behind it is kind of essentially it's about a muse. So I was listening to a lot of Neutral Milk Hotel around the same time that I was writing this song. So it's kind of that similar vein of longing for someone. So it's just kind of a nice romance song. All right, hope you like it. Last night I felt you in my bed, fumbled round, but it was all in my head. I swear your arms wrapped around me tight, sweat drenched through my bed sheets that night. Just so you know that I'm not gone. And one day, baby, maybe you would see that Nashville's not that it's cracked up to be. Could buy the bar downstairs, make out in the kitchen, no one would care. Let all our friends come in for free, bands would play and play until their fingers would bleed. I'll leave the light on just so you know that I'm not gone. And one day, baby, maybe you would see that Nashville's not that it's cracked up to be. Keep writing postcards, then I'll stop trying so hard. California's not that bad, you see, since Nashville's not that it's cracked up to be. Yeah, Nashville's not that it's cracked up to be. All right.
Absolutely beautiful. Thank you to Sam for recording those, even though she couldn't be here tonight. Very raw. That was very beautiful. And the whistling. Loved the whistling. All right. I would like to welcome Buddy Hale. We are so excited to announce our partnership with Musiclandria. Buddy Hale is the founder and director of Musiclandria. Hi, Buddy. Would you be willing to share a little bit about your story with Musiclandria?
Oh gosh, where do I start? Man, yeah, that could be a long story or a short story. Yeah, I guess I'll do the short one. So we are a music hub here in Sacramento, just for folks aren't super familiar with what we're all about. We're the largest music instrument lending library in the US, and we are right here in Sacramento. We did not start that way, but we used the power of the DIY spirit and the amazing powers combined of the local music community to just kind of create something that's, I think, really important for musicians and music enthusiasts. Yeah, we've got 4 main programs: our lending library, our education program stuff, our live music programs, and our professional development programs. And they're all based off of a musician's hierarchy of needs, right? We think that to create an enlightened musician, you need all of those 4 things, not necessarily in that order, but after 7 years of just kind of fumbling through how to do this thing and trying to make it up one step at a time, I feel like we've landed on something that's pretty important and like pretty life-changing for a lot of people who kind of connect with us and yeah, Yeah, that's
We do have a question from the audience. Someone says, in the whole US, I never knew that. So you guys do help out people around the country, right?
yeah. Well, so let me try to clarify that. So our catalog of musical instruments has over 800 things in it, and that is by far way more instruments than any library in the entire United States has
Yeah.
available for free checkout. Um, but yeah, so beyond that, we don't just do lending, right? So you can check out music instruments for free from our library, but beyond that, we have all those other programs as well. And our professional development is can be accessed by anyone, right? So we get people from New York reaching out to us to just talk about like, yo, how do I produce a song, right? Like I made this album and now what, right? Like, and we do one-on-one mentorship with people in that way. So that's a
Yeah,
fun
that's a
program.
really good resource.
It's awesome. It's
Mm-hmm.
probably one of my favorites. And then we just started a radio station called Sacramento Dirt that focuses 100% on Sacramento area bands. And that's having a national reach as well. So we get people listening from all over the world to Sacramento Dirt. So it's pretty
That's
awesome.
amazing. Amazing to hear. And you guys have the singing circles too, right?
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
DJ was just, we had one this past weekend and DJ showed up and
Oh, that's so sweet.
it was really fun to reignite those actually after taking a long hiatus because of the
Mm-hmm.
pandemic. But yeah,
Yeah. Well, we're so excited to be partnered and working with you with Music Landria with the Songwriter Circle. I'm
yeah,
sure that we'll be collaborating a lot more in the future with you guys.
definitely.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah, and thank you for letting us use resources and everything, hoping to connect again. And anyone who wants to reach out to Music Landria, we have the details right here. You can reach out to them at Music Landria on Instagram, and they will go ahead and give you a reach back.
yeah. Musiclander.com too if you want to learn more about our programs. And do I have time for a quick PSA
Sure,
for that?
why not?
Yeah, as part of Women's History Month, we are providing free recording sessions to women artists in the area. So if anyone watching this or wants to record here at the Library of Music Landry for totally free, I'm filling up as much of my calendar as possible, trying to make as much music happen as possible in solidarity with the women musicians of the area. If you yourself don't make music or are not ready to record, hit us up anyways. We can book it in the future. And I'm also trying to be intentional about reaching super diverse audiences. So my network only goes so far. So please spread the word. If you know someone who doesn't have the resources to record, but really should, please help us spread the word so we can make sure that we're being super inclusive and yeah, providing
Can I ask, when was Music Landria founded?
7 years ago.
Okay, so you
Yeah,
guys have been around for a minute.
a minute. Yeah, it feels like a long minute.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, we're really glad to be collaborating with you. I'm definitely going to be sharing a lot of that information with my friends, if not taking advantage of it myself. And I prompt you guys in the audience to also reach out to them if you have any of this drag your attention or anything, if you have any problems with recording or are lacking musical instruments or need some counseling even about your artist image, they would be happy to help.
Yeah.
Okay, and with that, I think we'll be moving on to our next artist. Thank you so much, buddy.
Thank you, buddy. Sarah, tell us about your next song.
I'm trying to put my video on, but it says I'm unable to because. Okay, great. Thank you. It's all set. So the next song is called Just as Lonely as You. And I think it's, I mean, all of these songs have kind of a pandemic feel because I did write them during the pandemic, but this one more than probably most of the others really, it really hits on that being alone. And that's where I actually got the title of the EP from. because one of my lines is, I'm learning to be so solitary. And so then that's where that came from. But I wrote it in the middle of the night, one night after texting with a friend who's also a musician. And I just said, well, who I was working with on a song, and it just felt so nice to not be so alone. And I commented, oh, I'm usually just this lonely person all by myself in my room, writing music, but this was really nice to like work with somebody. And this friend wrote back and said, I am that same lonely person. And then it just stuck in my head, and that's how I often write songs. It's just like whatever I hear or whatever I see, and then I just have to go and write a song immediately. And so I did that, and that's where the song came from. But it has, if you notice, there's a thread running through it about kind of something that I've been struggling with and grappling with is being all alone and isolated, but trying to find strength in solitude and using it to kind of feed me. And so luckily that has happened. But in the song, I talk about, wanting to be that person who's all alone, but not, super blue because of it. But so it's aspirational, but I'm getting there. And by the time I get there, probably it'll all open up and we can all be together again. Anyway.
Thanks for that. Yeah. All right. Thank you so much, Sarah. We'll hear your next song.
Dusk falls, I will not dread all of this darkness, the vast echoing in my head. I am that same person too, just as lonely as that same person too, just as lonely as you. Sooner or later we come undone and find our way back to where we came from. Gotta keep on pushing on alone. I hope we're gonna meet up when we're done. Sooner or later. Solitary, to lie solo in tall grass, stargaze from my own tree. Lonely or free, depends how you choose to see. I'm best friends with my own shadow. This song I sing to me. person too, just as lonely as you. I am that same person too, I'm so lonely and blue. I wanna be someone who's all alone but not blue. Soon I will be someone who is alone but not blue. Sooner or later, sooner or later.
All right. Thank you, Sarah. That was beautiful.
Thank you guys.
I just love your voice. It's so calming. You definitely have a sound.
Thank you.
So, and I can tell you're a fellow plant mom based on your stories and the plants behind you. I love it. So I noticed, so I was watching your story earlier and I noticed you had a Google document of one of your songs. And it just made me think, wow, there are so many different ways every artist can write, so many different platforms and resources and different things you can use. And it's even different song to song. So can you share a little bit about just specifically your writing process for your EP, and if it differed in any way from your writing process with any of your singles in the past?
Yeah, so that's a great question. So my process. So I used to work at a startup in San Francisco and have a kind of a really hectic life, but I used Google Docs extensively. And so I got really used to just opening a Google Doc and writing whatever, be it a poem or, starting to write a song. And so that's kind of my go-to, is that I put my guitar, I get this inspiration and I have to write a song, and it's just like something I have to do right, then. And I get my guitar, I open my computer up, and then I just start playing. I get a feeling, usually it's a feeling I have or a thought. And then I just put my hands on the guitar and I just start finding sounds. And eventually some nice stuff comes out and it feels very pretty. Maybe I'll have a line that I'll just start singing, and then I'll write it down, and then I don't know music theory at all. So I just, I have kind of my own way of trying to document what I'm playing. And you can probably see it in that. You might've noticed that in that story that I had. But so like I'll work on the frets. I'll say, oh, start at the 12th fret and then slide to 14 or whatever with the fingers on the third largest string. I mean, it's pretty silly, I think, to not be able to write it particularly well, but it works for me. And then I'll generally record it on my phone, take a little sound recording, and put it on my Google Drive, so I can preserve it. Because I write a lot. I write usually a song a week, sometimes two. And so there are songs I've written, full songs that are like 4 or 5 minutes long, and I don't remember how to play them. So it's nice to have the document and the the recording, so that I can go back and try to recover them. And this is different. You asked another part of that. So I have 2 singles, and then I have my Earthbound EP, and now I have Solitary as well. But for Earthbound, it was a similar process most of the time, except Back to the Earth, which is a song from Earthbound, I actually wrote that as a poem after spending like an evening with a friend by the side of this creek, and like there was this owl, and like it felt so magical. It was just so beautiful that I had to write about it. And so I wrote a poem because I've written a lot of poetry, and that's kind of how I started. I tried to meld that into songwriting, but so I wrote it as a poem. And then I was also at the same time writing some just instrumental part on my guitar that was kind of weird and funky. And then it just occurred to me, these have to go together. And so that's the first time I've ever done it like that. But that was an interesting process. And it actually, fitting it to the music made my poem better. And I thought, wow, this is really cool to like kind of polish it and make it go. So it was like kind of turning my poetry into music. And so anyway.
Amazing. Well, thank you for sharing. Um, it's so incredible. I mean, it's unique for everyone, the writing process, and then just the different parts of the writing process too. Like you mentioned, the documenting it, and then the actually coming up with a song. So thank you for sharing that process. I think we're ready to move on to Lainey now.
Hi, Lainey. We do a quick little switch out there. I'm glad to be hosting you and all of you guys today. Once again, I just wanted to say, for anyone who has any questions or comments on the song for the artists, we will be asking them and telling them all of those comments at the end. So although you have been adding comments in Twitch and stuff, we'll just go over that in the end game. Anyway, Lainey, would you go ahead and introduce your next song for us?
Yeah, my next song is called In Too Deep. And basically, it's about anxiety, and a really common theme that I'm finding across social media and a lot of discussions I've had with friends recently is that the concept of anxiety and mental health issues are things that have to be fixed because we're broken. One thing I really want to make clear in my music is that this is common, it's experienced, and it doesn't necessarily mean you're broken. So it's more about, here, see if you can relate to me in this song rather than feel bad for me, pity me, and things like that.
Yeah, I love relatable songs with anxiety. I am normally an anxious person, so I'm definitely going to relate. And I know a lot of people here in the audience will probably as well. Thank you for sharing your feelings and emotions with us and being so heartfelt in songs. Looking forward to hearing it.
Classic soliloquy, the crowded room, but it's only me, alone with my thoughts, and that's all they are, pondering all possibilities. You said okay, but what did you mean? You said it's all in my head. I know, but I'm tired of it, feeling like I'm sinking into something trapped within my head, longing for a lifeboat, and I can say it's sailing. Can't even give myself a break, won't even stop to take a breath. I try to lay out all my thoughts and even track out into 10. Don't need a savior complex or perplexing paradigms of what it's like to have a million different tabs open inside your mind. You asked me how you could help. Thought all the thoughts, nothing's left. Minds are tracking, hearts racing, always running from failing. But I'm okay, used to living this way. Don't need to be fixed, it's just another Monday. Ooh.
Lainey, as always, I'm absolutely astounded by your voice and your work this year and in pandemic. So we talked a little bit about anxiety, and I heard a little bit of those lyrics reflected in your song. When you are faced with imposter syndrome and like thinking, I'm not good enough, or comparing yourself to other musicians, what kind of helps you to break out of that zone?
This is an incredible question. You really hit the nail on the head with imposter syndrome for sure. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think one of the biggest things, luckily, I go to a liberal arts college and have lots of liberal arts professors who are all creators, and all have different purposes for their art. And I think something really, really important to consistently remind yourself of, is that this music is a gift that we are choosing to share. This
Okay.
isn't something that I owe anyone. I don't owe myself this. I think this is purely my choice, what I choose to share. Everyone has different experiences, different stories, and I think everyone has different ways of expressing those stories. So I think, yeah, constant reminder would just say, be nice to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And just knowing that kind of the practice that you put into it doesn't have to really make any impact on anyone else but you, as long as you feel like you're making your own progress. There's no one that can discount that.
I mean, even listening to Sarah talk, Sarah was describing her relationship with music theory and how music just comes to her and how it just turns out fantastic. I mean, if you'll listen to it, you'll love it. A lot of my background is rooted in music theory. I started as a classical pianist. I went to guitar and just kind of sung to keep tempo and keep time. And then all of a sudden, I found myself writing.
Yeah.
So I think Sarah and I come from two different perspectives, and actually, we're trying to work together to see what we can come up with. Just this kind of collision of two worlds, one very music theory, very logic based, and one just very emotion based, and just
Yeah.
I think that's some really incredible stuff can come out of that.
I do love showcasing the different writing styles in comparison, because you've got a really big like childhood background with music, whereas Sarah started writing songs recently, and you've both made so much progress in like the last year. It's amazing to witness. And I consider both of you guys very talented artists, by the way, in my mind, and I'm sure in a lot of the audience's mind. I don't think there's any reason for you guys to doubt yourself, but I know that those thoughts always pop into the mind. You throw in a little bit of self-consciousness in there, and then you got a perfect recipe for some self-doubt. So I'm glad for you to share your ideas and thoughts on how to break out of that, and sharing that song. Absolutely gorgeous, by the way. But gonna go ahead and move on to another one of Sam Henson's originals. Sam, take it away.
Okay. Thank you guys again for having me. So this next song is actually a new Band of Coyote song. It's called While the Whole World Sleeps, and it'll be on our new album that'll be released probably by, I'm hoping, the end of this next year. Yeah, this song is just it's basically just about thinking about your past, and just like the journeys that you go on, and just meeting new people and things like that. I started writing it with the band close to when quarantine started about a year ago, so like end of March, early April. And so there was just like a lot of time for me to think about my own life journey, and so yeah, that's kind of what the nuts and bolts of this song are about. So hope you guys like it. While the whole world sleeps, and my mind wanders through all the thoughts I kept so locked up, take apart my will, and I've left my loved ones and everything Thank you.
Thank you again, Sam, for sharing a little bit about your journey. I'm sure when she rewatches this, she'll be able to see that. And we really enjoy hearing about your writing process a little bit with Band of Coyotes as well. All right, Sarah, back to you. Hi, Sarah. Can you tell us about the name of your last song?
Sure. So this last song is Which Way is Home? And did you want to hear a little about it too? Or, okay. So I wrote this song. I woke up one morning really, really sad. And it was a few months back. And I wrote a song called I Woke Up Sad Today. And it was very depressing. And then I was still sad because usually when I write, I feel better. But so I just kept writing. And I started writing this song. I had just recently moved to Sacramento I used to live in the Bay Area. I had a horrible breakup of a very long relationship, and then my dad he was ill with cancer, and shortly after that, the breakup, he was diagnosed as being terminal. So I came to Sacramento to take care of him in hospice, and I did that, and then anyway, I decided to move here because I found such a great songwriting community, and I was like, I could have a life here, and I don't have a life in the Bay Area anymore. The startup I was working for exploded. Like, they got bought by a big company, but like first they, basically downsized. So I just thought that the only reason why I didn't need to be in the Bay Area, I needed to be here. But when I moved here, I didn't know many people other than songwriting folks, and that was my community. But then the pandemic happened, and I was like, okay, I'm in this new place, and I'm all alone basically, and I can't go outside really and interact with anyone anymore, which was that's like that was the only thing kind of helping me hold myself together, is sharing songs with you guys and hearing your songs and everything at these meetups. So this song, it came out of a deep sadness, but transformed me. By the time I was done writing it, I was feeling so much better. And I had been like missing my dad, who died, right before I moved here. And then, anyway, but I was also wondering, like, well, where do I go from now? Where is my home? I wish I could find it. Like, what is home? Like, I don't know there are no people, and this is hard, and the world is weird now. So anyway, but writing this song made me feel better. And then as I was listening to the mix, and just like hearing my vocals and everything, I usually go for like a run or a walk around the neighborhood as I listen, because I kind of need to do that. I need to move my body, as I started out as a dancer, and I kind of need to move. But as I was doing that, I started dancing in the street, and what I realized is, oh wow, this is kind of like a dance song, and this is a very upbeat song. And I have a drummer in Brazil who I work with, and I have kind of a background with Brazilian dance and capoeira and music. And so I use a drummer in Brazil because he can do not only this, like the basic drum kit, but he can do a lot of Brazilian percussion. And so he added some Brazilian percussion and just drum kit to this song. And it just became like, I found myself moving, and then in my mind, I was like, this song needs mandolin. It just needs a mandolin. I don't know why, it just needs it. And so that's when I asked Dalton James if he could help me out, and he was happy to oblige, and he came over and played mandolin on it. So anyway, but so I made a video, and I don't know if you guys have seen it yet, but I'm really excited about it. And it includes a lot of my friends from the Bay Area. It includes some people, it includes my drummer in Brazil. It includes people from the Sac songwriting community as well, dancing to my song and just having a good time. And it's like me out in the street anyway, I hope that everybody can watch it. I'm kind of hesitant to show this video because it's just me and my guitar, but the song itself, the produced version has, so much more to it. So I'd love for you to see the video, the music video as well. And sorry for talking so long.
Thank you, Sarah. I really appreciate it. I saw the video the other day and it made me feel a type of way. It was very, just got a lot of joy from it. Seeing other people's joy is just very infectious. So if you do have the chance, our audience, to go watch it, please do. Sarah's information will be in the video down below. But it's a really great video, so if you have the chance to watch it, I encourage you to. So let's hear it.
Tell me which way is home. Please tell me, 'cause I really want to go back home. Perched atop a hill at the end of a longer road. At night through the windows you can feel the warming glow of togetherness. No one's alone at home. At home, there's a family. There's a place for everybody at home. At home. Please tell me which way is home. 'Cause I really want to go back home, back home, back home, back home.
Thank you, Sarah. Like I said earlier, just infectious joy was the first thing that came to mind. Even without the music video, it just comes through in the song. Beautiful. So, like I mentioned earlier about the feelings that we can get from artists as they write and share music, what is your what do you think are the biggest inspirations you like for your audience to take away from your music as you write it?
Well, first, thanks so much. I'm really happy that you felt that infectious joy. And along the same lines of your question, I write for myself as therapy, but I truly hope that through that process, other people, through the process of healing myself through music, I hope that others will be healed as well, or at least feel not so alone. And people have been telling me that, strangers from around the world. It's kind of crazy now that I've kind of been putting my music out there more lately, and it feels amazing, but also kind of scary because the world then becomes quite small. But it just feels so good to be able to bring good into the world and be a positive force. So that's my hope, really. That's part of why I write music, although I do it for myself because I have to anyway.
Well, thank you so much. I think that really comes across very well, and very effortlessly, it seems. Um, it's a difficult thing to be vulnerable and to translate that into putting music out in public in the world. But I think a lot of people are feeling that sense of isolation and hopelessness, and to write something that beautiful and share it, it coming from a place of vulnerability, I think is just absolutely beautiful and very courageous of you. So thank you so much.
Thank you. You're going to make me cry. And I just want to add one other thing. So I had a really big birthday back a couple weeks ago. And so part of this is just getting to the point where I feel that I don't have time to waste and I don't have time to be afraid. And anyway, so as far as female empowerment goes, as you get older, like you start not worrying as much about what others think and just trying to live true to who you are. So I'll leave it at that.
Beautiful. Thank you, Sarah. All right, Lainey, on to you.
Hi, Lainey. We're on to the last round, so this is song number 3 for you. What song were you going to detail as your last performance of the night? And you're muted still, actually.
I will never get
Easy
that.
to forget.
I'm
Yeah.
hang of it. My final song is titled Float. It's really, so basically a lot of the 2 of the 3 songs that I'm showcasing tonight are part of what was considered my senior project for college, for my undergrad, and it dealt with invisible illnesses. So this one is dealing with depression. And basically I wanted to write something a little bit different and take a different process than what I typically go through. I wanted to write something for myself. As Sarah was describing, music can be so incredibly therapeutic and help you get through a lot. I wanted to use concrete examples, so I listened to an excessive amount of Phoebe Bridgers, I'd say. I know you just put out a cover of Phoebe.
Yeah.
Stellar.
Thank you.
I wanted to use some concrete examples. So you'll hear kind of ways that depression manifests itself in my life without being blatant, like, look at me, I'm sad depresso right now. Yeah.
I really love your awareness of mental health issues in your music and otherwise. It's a really big thing, like you said, that a lot of people don't kind of recognize that all these songs are actual emotions and things that people have put into them. Some people will just take it as a story, but generally, a lot of the artists will have some background to it or want to share a concrete message. So, thank you for sharing that. All right, here we go.
miracle. Blowing all my cash on shitty takeout. Like the sky last night burned up and grayed out. Need a miracle, a miracle. Put on rose gold frames, still it's blurry. Kept it to myself, no need to worry. 'Cause it's bearable, it's bearable. And sometimes the thought of my feet hitting the ground is fighting a battle I wanna skate around. And sometimes the thought of me dragged into the world by strangers, by friends who don't understand the hurt just sucks. Wanna heal my thoughts and be more gentle. Kinder to myself, not as resentful. Need a miracle, a miracle.
That was amazing. Beautiful, like you said. So you did mention that you wrote this song in college and you went to college in San Francisco. Is that correct?
Yeah, I'm currently a junior, kind of senior. It's a mess at USF.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Nice. So you've been involved in the music scene kind of there a little bit through ASUSF, is that right?
Yeah.
I was wondering if you could tell me a little bit about your experience in Sacramento versus San Francisco and also a little bit about ASUSF.
Yeah. So I'd say from my experience in both, obviously I can only speak on what my experience is.
Mhm.
I don't really have the qualifications to make these broad overarching statements, but from what I can see, I think Sacramento's style of music, what comes out of the artists, is a little bit more diverse. I think people have different vibes and different genres. I'd say the people that I've had the opportunity to listen to their music and hear their stories um, tend to be a little bit more similar in terms of the vibe, but not the message, if that makes sense. I think one of the really fantastic parts about San Francisco is that you can go to different places in San Francisco and you can hear different things. You can hear different styles. I've done projects on Brazilian music. I've done projects on different musics just depending on, for example, if you go to Haight Ashbury, there's people with guitars that hang out there and they have their own different genre of music. So I think style genre is the biggest difference, but collaboration and the intent and heart behind it is similar.
Yeah, and in Sacramento it's not as like you can have streamlined events and stuff, but it's generally like you'll have a couple artists who play different styles. And then I haven't been ingrained in the San Francisco music scene, so I'm glad to hear all this information myself, like how you can get different types of artists going to different parts of the city or different like shops and places.
Yeah, I'd say the
Very
thing
cool.
that's most frustrating to me is that a lot of the times in Sacramento, you'll listen to a musician and just be like, wow, your music is absolutely incredible. Where can I find you? And it's pretty quick to find. Here's my Instagram, here's my socials, here's my Facebook, here's my Spotify, here's my YouTube. You go to San Francisco, and there's so much less of that because I feel like music is more of a personal journey that is not
Yeah.
as publicly shared. So
They have a nice little underground community there, huh?
Definitely.
That's nice. And then what was your role in ASUSF? You posted a couple music videos there on like TikTok and such that I got to see.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
goodness. Yeah, that was a
long
fun
ago.
one.
Yeah.
I'm currently the assistant musical director for ASUSF Voices at USF. That's a lot of letters. Basically, it's just student run, and it's 5 different choirs. Um,
That's a lot.
it's a whole process. So basically, I'm student conducting. Currently, I am learning and in the process of converting to teaching a choir online, which is so rough, but it's a
Yeah.
great opportunity, and you get to learn a lot of tech stuff out of it.
You get like 30 people on your Zoom call, huh?
It's
Oh
rough.
my gosh. That's intense. Yeah. Well, yeah, thank you so much for sharing a lot about that. I'm sure that all of those experiences have helped to mold you as an artist and give you a bunch of other experiences to talk about and share in your songs. So, very glad to know that you're a community guy here. Supporter Lainey. Thank you. And we will move on here to Sam Henson's last song. And Sam Henson, you go ahead and take it away.
All right. This last song is actually an older one, but just one that is very precious to me. I still haven't recorded it, but essentially the main theme of it is just about grief. And I've lost some people in my life, and I've known other people who've lost people. And so, yeah, this song is just mainly about the process of grief. So it's called Why the Old Crows Don't Sing. Hope you like it. great. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you again, Sam. I know you'll rewatch this at some point, so appreciate you submitting those videos even though you couldn't be here. And Rainer asked in the chat, she was wanting to know a little bit more of your influences. I think we all would. So just beautiful songwriting. Thank you to our audience for watching. We are moving on to a audience question portion. So if you have any questions for our artists, be sure to drop those below in the chat and make sure you mention which artist you're referring to so we can get those questions asked. But Sarah, I have a few questions for you, and then Lainey, I have one for you as well. So Sarah, how was recording your last EP different from recording this one?
So the first EP I recorded at home, Earthbound, I really had no idea what I was doing. I mean, I had recorded a couple of singles at this guy's backyard studio in Oakland where I lived. And he was really pro, but also very casual. And that informed a lot of how I made the first bless you, how I recorded the first EP. I'm sorry. Habit. So yeah, I had to re-record a lot of things because the first one, because of mic placement, like I just didn't quite have it right. Settings on my computer and the program I used, just like it was a lot of really silly mistakes like that. And with the second one, luckily I moved beyond all of those kind of newbie errors, and I made other kinds of errors that I also learned a lot from. Yeah, and let's see. Yeah, for this second one, for Solitary, this most recent one, I kind of had more of an idea of the vibe of the songs that I wanted. So I didn't have to do as many, say, vocal sessions, because I kind of knew more going into it how I wanted it to sound, because you can make, you can do your vocals in a bunch of different ways. And I have kind of a, my voice goes low, it also goes high, higher. So it's like, well, what do I really want to focus on? And what do I want the vibe to be? And so I was able to nail that a little bit closer at the start. So it wasn't as difficult. But I think my next recording project, I've learned so much in this second one as well. So I think that the next time I record, I'll have a lot of things just a lot better figured out prior. So that should go even more smoothly. But I want to say, I encourage anyone who wants to record, who has music that they feel like recording, to just go for it, and don't push yourself even to do it. If you're scared, if you have any fears holding you back, just go for it. Because if I can do it, anybody can, really.
Well, thank you for sharing that. Lainey, I have a question for you now, and then I'll circle back to you, Sarah. So what was it like to make the video you recently released?
I'm assuming you're referring to the video Mine that's just got put on my YouTube. That was created for what was called the music showcase for my college. And it's this really fantastic opportunity where you basically create a piece and then you can share it, kind of an open mic night. I had so much fun just because I used to be into videography growing up, making all these little short films. I had a camera and a gimbal, and basically I shot footage of the things that I felt were happening in my head while I was writing. Rather than telling an alternate story, I know with music videos, there's so many techniques that you can use. There's ones where it can be visually appealing but not have to do with the story of the song, or it can relate to the music itself, or it can be a completely different plot line or acted out by different characters. I wanted this to be mostly authentic to the meaning of the song to me, having the original agents as the people described in the song. So you'll see my boyfriend is main starring, is plays a fantastic role in the song and got a camera pointed at him so unnecessarily and without his consent. But really awesome opportunity to create something fun. Yeah.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Lainey. All right, back to you, Sarah. What was your process like to create your music video?
So it was different for both the videos. I have videos for all 6 songs in the works. But so the first one, which was Daydreaming Again, that was the first song that played. Like I think I mentioned that I just used footage I had, and I just took one day, and I didn't know it was going to take me only a day, but I just sat down, and from like morning until late at night, I just threw it together. I just had a bunch of images, and I tried to kind of tell the story, but not too tightly with that one. And I actually happened to be at my mom's house, and I kept showing it to her, and she was like, "No, there's something weird about that cut or whatever." And I'd say, "What?" And she's very critical, but it's good. So I was able to adjust things. So I have to give my mom some credit for this, because she gave really good critical feedback. And for that one, I wanted to get, I found the perfect footage for, this archival stuff that was like, the person in the car is like riding along and then kind of looks over, and it goes with the music, I think, pretty well. For the second one, Which Way Is Home, which is the one where people are dancing, and people recorded videos of themselves. That was trickier. So I made a creative brief. So going back to my startup days, and working with large teams, which really helped me actually. I made a Google Doc with like a creative brief, and then I asked a bunch of people if they would be in it, if they would dance to my song, and I just gave like tech specs, what I needed, and then I went about, so my neighbor, I happened to live right next to Daryl Janai Dillon, who, I don't know if you guys know Janai, the band, but he is an incredible videographer, in addition to like having his own band and being a really great performer too. But so I basically I called him up and I said, I need to be dancing in the street. Can you and walking around, can you take my phone and record me? And I didn't really need to give him very much direction, because he's just so good. And I was actually really worried because I wanted to be able to ask somebody which way is home on the street. And I was like, who can I ask? I don't know. I really need to, who can I call? I don't really know many people, or maybe a neighbor would do it. And I was really stressing. And then I thought, well, I can always have Daryl do it, and I'll just use my phone mount that I can just record us talking, having the phone mounted. But as I walked outside to go to his house, the postman Joe was out there filling our mailbox, and I love Joe. Joe is like a really cool mail person. I don't know what you call it, post person, but postal worker. And I just went up and I asked him, and I had my mask, and I said, "Would you be in my video?" And he said, "Sure." And I gave him like a, kind of 5-second description, and Daryl just shot it. And then so that's what happened. It was all very off the cuff. Like, I think the dance part that I did was all in one take and I didn't love all of the stuff I did, but kind of what I've been doing is just working with what I've got. And it's been a really cool set of restraints that I can then find ways of being creative within it. So that's kind of been the theme for these videos, is just like working with what I've got. I didn't have a tremendous amount of footage, but I also have some very talented friends, I have to say. And so, people who are dancers already, very experienced dancers, some who weren't though, and they still did a great job. So I just want to thank everybody for joining in on this project. And it made me really happy. Some people couldn't get to it. They were just too busy or too nervous. And then afterwards, some people who were nervous to do it said, "Oh, I wish I had been in it. It's so great. I don't know what I was worried about." But hopefully there'll be an opportunity for more videos, and I can include more friends. So.
Love that. Thank you so much, Sarah. Definitely sounds like collaborating helps to have people around you, which is the point of the Songwriter Circle, is to have resources and people to collaborate. So thank you for sharing. I have a question for Lainey now. Kendra's asking, says she's getting ready to go to college in the fall. She's wondering what classes you might recommend for pursuing songwriting professionally. So she's undecided on a major, but if she doesn't major in music, she'd like to know what classes to take as electives. So do you have any recommendations for her?
So I can give you kind of an insight into what I'm doing right now. Something that I think is super important to pay attention to is the difference between a music major and a major involving music. For example, I applied and actually got accepted to San Francisco Conservatory of Music, and ended up turning it down just because it related a lot more to the personalized individual musician experience, and I wanted something that kind of got to deal with more of an audience and got to deal with helping more people. So I'm double majoring in performing arts and social justice with a concentration in music. So it deals with more societal issues in music. And then I'm doubling that with psych and minor with neuroscience. It's a fun time. Classes that I would recommend, really, rather than taking songwriting classes, you're going to be picking up a lot of tips and skills from professors, which is super, super fantastic. I'd say one of the most helpful ways for me in my songwriting has been really putting myself in ensembles and groups. So working with choirs, working with jazz bands, working with school marching bands, groups that you might not necessarily associate yourself with, but each of these groups has particular skills for a reason, and you can learn a lot from those. That, and as well as learning different cultures, different styles of music that come from different cultures, just because there's so much in every culture.
Thank you so much, Lainey. That's super helpful, even for me to hear, and I think for a lot of people, because it's hard to navigate and there's a lot there. So thank you for sharing. All right. Well, thank you to our artists so much for being here tonight. Thank you to our audience. We're just going to end with just a few announcements here. We have some upcoming shows. We have a show with Shane Q and Mona V. That will be April 10th. And you'll see the flyer here in just a second. We also have our April showcase on April 21st. That's our next showcase. That'll be with Daryl Janine, Seth Kaminsky, and Jason Angove. And just to circle back to the Shane Q and Mona V the show that we have going on with them, that will be live streamed from Musiclandria. So we're really excited about that, to be working with them in person, but it will be a live streamed show. And then our April showcase also has a wonderful lineup. So over to you, Rainer.
We also have been preparing a little bit far out. We have a May showcase coming up on, it's actually on the day after my birthday. So that's pretty nice. But we'll have Elise Bakerson, Chance Vano, and Eyes Like Lanterns. I'm really excited to hear all of their music because I don't think I've had the chance to before. So make sure to tune in. We have a bunch of collaboration and events that go on in the stuff in between. A bunch of new artists for you to visit.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to it. Also, if you'd like to be part of a showcase, you can submit your music for a future showcase at Sacramento Songwriter Circle at gmail.com. And we will have that linked for you. You can visit any of our social media to find that email to submit your music for a showcase.
And we also have our songwriter meetups every Tuesday, actually. So we have a 7 to 8 p.m. thing where we can do a bunch of collaboration and give you feedback on songs. We also have meetups on the first Wednesday of every month, as well as the show. So make sure to tag along to any of that if you want to be involved in the community. Yes, Don Rico, you can get an hour. Thank you guys so much for tuning in and being a part of the community. Speaking of tuning in, would any of our artists like to share any upcoming events or releases that they might have coming up? Any projects? Sarah, I know that you have a couple things that you're working on.
Yeah, so I will be appearing on sorry. I will be appearing on public access television. I think it's channel 17. There'll be more details about that to come, but that's going
Yeah.
to be on April 14th. And I think that Rainer, you said,
Yeah. The Songwriter Circle will be retweeting or reposting pretty much information about that for Sarah. Any of Sarah's information you can also find on sarahreiwitch.com and contact her via Instagram, follow up on all those updates. Sarah, if you don't mind me restating it, Solitary, the EP, has been out for a little bit, and if you haven't given a listen to it yet, would really recommend that you do. She poured a lot of soul and effort into it and made a bunch of really pretty amazing music videos to make your soul just like happy. I love seeing my friends like Dalton playing the mandolin on that one song, and a couple other people just kind of dancing around that I recognized. Very nice. And I know a couple of those things are up on her YouTube as well. So if you're looking for more Sarah's material, you can find it there. And then I believe Lainey also has the YouTube, right? Would you like
Yeah,
to tell us a
I
little bit?
yeah, I have a couple videos up on YouTube. One is for a song titled Corona, which was written at the very beginning of quarantine
Yeah.
when our little naive brains thought that this was going to be a short thing and that the biggest frustration was not being able to hang out with your friends. So it's kind of a really nice glance back at me a year ago where my mental state was at pre all of this. I'm intending on making more videos. Currently, I'm working on editing just so much of what I've written.
Mm-hmm.
Tons and tons of songs that I've written out in the last year. I only started writing over the summer, honestly. I finished my first song in almost tomorrow is the 1 year anniversary of me writing my first song, actually.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's kind of neat.
I'm glad we get to celebrate with you.
Yeah, it'll be a good time. But yeah, I'm working on putting stuff out. It'll come. You'll see announcements. They'll be everywhere.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know you said you were working on getting your first stuff out on Spotify. I'm in the same boat there. It's kind of that first step, that launching point, right? Just kind of to get your stuff out there, and Spotify, once you get stuff out there, you can add it to like Taxi and stuff like that, and get it promoted and added to playlists. So really looking forward to adding your songs to my playlists in the future. And keep up to date with Laynee Daniels and Sarah Reiwitch on all of their different social media. I wanted to say one last thank you to everyone for joining, Chloe for hosting with me. I feel like this was a very nice women's empowerment month. It was very good to support some of my friends and um, fellow co-hosts and coordinators.
Yes, thank you, Rainer. Yes, I did want to thank all the coordinators who were part of making this happen. And thank you, Rainer, for hosting with me. And also our artists for being here and giving up their time and sharing their hearts and their processes with us. And also our audience. Thank you, audience, for joining us. And we will see you all next month. That'll be Wednesday, April 21st.
Looking forward to it. Bye for now, everyone.
Thanks so much, everyone.